Ladies and gentlemen, in less than 2 weeks in our very own beloved country, the confusion and error that has rocked the government has now extended into the very core of the men and women who are charged with the responsibility of protecting our country. The Chief of General Staff, Major General Gola, dies very mysteriously. And as the soldiers are asking what went wrong to their boss, then we hear of a scuffle between the police and the KDF. In Lodwa, we are told that is in Turkana County, that certain KDF officers get into a scuffle with policemen at some roadblock, and they are detained in a police station, and then their colleagues regroup to go and emancipate them by force. And this only triggers further tension. Then yesterday we saw the pictures of a KDF officer punching a policeman, and there was a lot of confusion. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are also being told that there is another KDF officer in a police cell in Kilifi who went to rescue one of his cousins who was apprehended and was in a police cell. And we are told that he went there with his uncle, broke some window panes, and emancipated by force the person, the victim who had been arrested, and then they turned to the complainant and they strangled him. That is happening just within few weeks. And I'm just asking myself, is God still with William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua? William Ruto is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. As such, he's in control, he's supposed to be in control of all the men in uniform. And as I was looking at the photos and the video that was going on viral, I thought for a moment that something is not right. I've known that sometimes, if you ask me, that this government was never ready because it came into power with a lot of PR and propaganda and hoodwinking Kenyans. And so, with the economic mess and the rot in the education sector and the insecurity in the country, I was never surprised at all because one, even the people who were appointed by President William Ruto to help him, realize his vision, the economic agenda of the bottom up and all this, are people who are never competent enough. Most of them are politicians. But I did not imagine, even in my wildest dreams, that this confusion would go and find itself within the military and the police, quarters. It is just unacceptable. And if you ask me, I've always confessed that I'm not a security expert. But then there are things that needs no rocket science. Whenever there is a scuffle between the police and the military, ladies and gentlemen, we know that both the police, the Kenya police and the Kenya Defense Forces, are trained to handle firearms. And in as much as you'd tell me that the KDF is usually undergoes some, tough training and they know how to handle some sophisticated weapons, Vita havina macho, I was told by my Kiswahili teacher. And when it comes to firearms, the rule is very simple. Whoever pulls the trigger first will get the better of the other. And so when I see our men in uniform, both the KDF and the police in wrangles, I fear, like yesterday in Likoni, I mean, it was not really a scene that is supposed to be even imagined. And when you have two people who have been trained to handle, guns and weapons, such kind of weapons, getting physical, you never know what can happen next. And this is something that Duale, who is the defense minister, Kithure Kindiki, who is the minister of interior, must really, really look into. We have a problem in this country where we ignore the red alerts. In the very first moment when we heard that the KDF and the policemen got into some kind of altercation in Lodwar, in Turkana country, this would have been arrested as fast as possible. There should have been meetings to solve and iron out issues. But because that was left, it escalated, and now it was happening in Mombasa. I still insist that where weapons are being handled, it doesn't need to go physical, and that kind of tension is not really good. Both the KDF and the Kenya police are charged with the responsibility of protecting us. The KDF is supposed to protect us from external aggression, while the Kenya police is supposed to maintain law and order. And when you see them now charging their energy into wrestling each other with a lot of supremacy battle, ladies and gentlemen, it does not help at all. We pay, and I always say that we pay the KDF and the police with taxpayers' money, not to start creating scenes, fighting each other, and to see who is better than the other. We pay them to help us. This is happening at a time when bandits are rocking Baringo and Northeastern. And the other day, William Ruto charged the KDF to go and help and arrest the situation there. In fact, when Major General Ogola died, he went to inspect schools that were being constructed by the KDF in an area that had been rocked by bandits, and they had taken over. Schools had been closed. So they went there to restore peace and order. They're supposed to protect us, not to be fighting on the streets. And when this continues to happen, there will be a go slow. The police will be angered. Even in their quarters now, I know they are not very happy. When a KDF officer embarrasses a police officer and cameras are capturing this, it is not good at all. They feel embarrassed. And when you look at it further, you realize that that was someone's. I always say this, that we really need to value families. I keep on talking about it. That was someone's father being punched, and the video is going viral. And you know what that means even to the kid, because if he has kids and then the video goes viral, then the children will start asking. And that's why I think even when we look at it deeper at the family level and social level, it is not good enough, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, when all this confusion is rocking the country, the UDA is, busy looking and handling their grassroots elections, which was equally confused. The process where they even elected someone who's dead, 1 year dead, and was buried long time ago. These people are supposed to have a joint operation to quell the tension within the bandit infested areas. How will they work together? We are creating unnecessary tension between the two camps. And I looked at it and I thought, this is a warning. Because for the KDF to come in the full glare of light, and start punching police officers, they're simply telling us that kukiwaka moto, we can always explode. Someone was telling me that if the military takes over, everyone becomes a civilian, including the police. There is a kind of bitterness within them. And it seems that they were sending a warning that we can always decide to take the law in our hands. I understand that investigations are going on, and the KDF condemned this kind of act. When it happens, the only people who can handle this and confront the KDF are the military police. They undergo, special training, and I simply believe that those are also just soldiers who understand, because they're the only people who can handle soldiers. And we are told that others are being detained as the investigation take place. I know they are called disciplined force, but there is something that there's more than meets the eye. This kind of tension cannot just be arrested by apprehending the soldiers and doing investigation. They must look into what is really happening, what is the cause of this, and uproot it. Because if we do things by intimidation and PR, things will not, happen the way we want. There will be we will not quell this tension. It will continue to escalate to further levels. In fact, you'll hear KDF and police officers killing themselves in joints like clubs, hotels, or when they are on leave in their rural suburbs. You'll hear them fighting. And as I told you, this is not really good, because both the departments are skilled. They are trained to fight. This energy must not be misplaced, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm wondering, where is Kindiki and where is Duale? Playing PR, playing a lot of politics when this is happening? Where is the commander-in-chief? As I said, I understand we can have fake fertilizer, we can have floods that cannot be controlled, we can have, a lot of wastage in the government, but I do not expect that this kind of confusion and mess is left even for a moment to escalate into the hands of those people who handle sophisticated weapons, guns and pistols and all that. There must never be tension between the Kenya police and the KDF. These people need to work together to cooperate. I wish to hear that there has been a meeting between the bosses from the police department, maybe Koome, and one of the representatives from the KDF. I don't know what you think, but I think the gods have abandoned us. The gods have simply abandoned us. I don't know when that prayer band that was constituted by Rachel and the second lady, is it still working? Who are we praying for? We need to pray for this government, for the confusion that is rocking this government, so that we restore order and sanity. I have a feeling that the KDF is bitter, and they only need some little things to trigger the bitterness. And that is what we saw. I don't know whether I'm the only one who's not exposed. When was the last time you saw a KDF officer assaulting a police in full glare of a camera, exhibiting a lot of anger? We are ignoring red alerts. And I've told you in this channel that anytime you ignore a red alert, something big happens. Let me end by one of the Kiswahili that I was taught. I'm not good in Kiswahili, but I remember a few. Tusipoziba ufa tutajenga ukuta. We must seal the crack so that we don't find ourselves with a big hole to deal with. It is that serious. We may think it is a joke, but it is that serious. The Al-Shabaab will take advantage, bandits will take advantage, because the energy is now, channeled to fighting each other instead of protecting Kenyans. I don't know what the UN security will do. They're looking at this is happening when Kenya insists that we want to take 1,000 soldiers to Haiti. What for? When they're fighting themselves. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but that is my take.